Recently, Joe Rogan had Caleb Hammer on his show, and they were talking about social media and the algorithms here. Let's take a listen to what they had to say.
So what do you think, if you had to put on your tinfoil hat and really try to make an assessment of like why this is happening? Like, why are they allowing this? Why isn't...
To be clear, he's talking about why blue cities are being destroyed. Earlier in the show, we talked about how great America is and how it's not a third world country. Now we see some of these blue cities that are turning into the exact thing that we were talking about we don't want to be, these gross third world cities and countries.
No one done what is the sensible thing. Protect the peaceful, tax-paying, kind, and compassionate people of the city from violent criminals. Why are you allowing these people to continually be released? Why are you so soft on crime? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, honestly, definitely not as deep as Musk is on this. But for me, I really think it's this political capture. When you get in those ecosystems now online, you can get on TikTok and it'll immediately figure out within 3 minutes what group to put you in. And then you hear no other perspective.
Right.
And we know young generations, especially young women, they've moved more politically extreme than any other generation in the history of the United States. And they've moved to the left, left, right, I don't care, but they've moved to the extreme version. And when you're politically captured, you then vote for the people that are more politically captured on that left. And there is a lot of that moral masturbation that comes with it. It sounds good.
Yeah.
We had all that information around 2015, 2020 that anyone that's going to prison is, just for having weed or anything like that. We're just evil as a society.
Right.
And when you get that and you start moral masturbating about everything, it sounds right. Like things like rent control, it sounds good. It sounds like the moral thing to do. Not just putting people in prison for a long time. Sounds nice.
Have you guys heard that phrase, moral masturbation, here?
That's a new one.
Yeah.
That is a new one.
It's a new one, but I'll tell you what, it kind of is effective. It makes a little bit of sense.
That is my new band name, yes.
This is a nickname in high school.
Oh, wow.
You too?
I'm sorry. Megan, high school you were called moral masturbation?
Yes. Triple M.
Okay. I appreciate you owning that. Let's continue.
Sounds nice. Not kicking people off the street when they're homeless. It sounds nice. Not doing those sweeps. It sounds nice.
Yeah.
And people that are politically captured online, especially in our algorithms, it's just so brutal. And they just vote for that on repeat because they hear no alternative perspective. And even still, it's so politically captured now where it's like, if you disagree with 1%, you're a Nazi and you're get out of here. You're not one of us.
Everybody has experienced that here. 100%. Yes.
Sure.
It's pretty brutal. I always considered myself like pretty left of center, actually. I'm probably more centrist now. Economically, I've moved a little to the right over the past few years, but compared to the people surrounding me in college that were definitely like far left, because music school and all that stuff, but they were still algorithmically captured. I was borderline like a Nazi because I just didn't agree with everything.
Yeah.
Maybe the taxes shouldn't fund tits.
Right.
I'm sorry if I'm a Nazi for that. Like, we have too much bloat.
I think you're absolutely correct about the political capture, but I think it's also manipulated. And that still doesn't account for who's funding the DA campaigns.
Real quick, it is interesting to think about that, the idea of these platforms being captured. Because what's the one thing that you heard once Elon Musk acquired Twitter? As soon as it went away from being a psycho leftist weird echo chamber and allowed for everyone to say pretty much what they wanted to say, it immediately became far right and extreme because it didn't go along with the narrative. I think that's one of the more fascinating things about this time that we're living in is when you have something like whenever everything is controlled by this machine, right? We all know this is true, whether it's bureaucracy, whether it's the networks, whether it's entertainment, there is one way of thinking, right? It's left. And if you're not left, you are a Nazi. You're in it. You're done. But and everybody sees this. And I think that most people recognize this, but those who are in it, those who are a part of this industry, the entertainment industry, whatever, the media, it goes back to your idea, Phoenix, of the lie detector test. Do they truly believe what they're saying, or are they just kind of going along to get along.
Yeah, no, they don't believe. There's only two of them. The ones that know it's bullshit, but they go along with it either out of fear or whatever, or to fit along, or two that they're actually insane. There's a lot of mentally unstable or kids on these horrible drugs, like the SSIs or whatever they're called. But no, I don't think many of them believe any of the things that they espouse.
No. I think a lot of the extremists, I mean, we can see the mental illness visually and verbally by what they say, which leads me to believe that they were picked on in high school. And so they follow along because they feel a part of something and they feel like they belong somewhere where they didn't feel that at all, maybe growing up in school or in organizations that they were a part of. So now they feel like they have a purpose, and it's these algorithms that give them that purpose, and they feed that machine and they feed the delusion, and then it's just pitting groups of people against each other. Then it causes violence, then it causes riots, and it causes cities to be torn down and looted and destruction. It's all a sociological project almost, to put it lightly, I guess.
Where does this end? I know the Tim Pool meme of like civil war.
I'd argue you're in it.
You think that it's an information civil war instead
Yeah,
of
it's a different kind. It's not people marching on a lawn and then, thankfully no violence, things like that. Although one side is really doing it. You're looking at it with the legal processes. You're looking at it how, this administration is trying to combat this through asserting voting laws and voting rights and all this other kind of stuff. You're looking at it through a legal means, but there are sides getting further and further apart. You're seeing this especially with redistricting, places with voting and so you're seeing this all across the board. That is not a healthy country. That is a country that is picking a side.
Yeah, golly, it's are we there? Like you say, we're in it right now. Do you think it'll ever escalate to the idea of actual physical violence, or is it all just information warfare?
Yeah, I guess I'm going to be honest. Yes, I do think it's going. I think you're going to start getting pockets of it. You're already seeing it. How many? I know that we just so used to it now, but how many attempts have been on the president's like to the point where we're like, oh yeah, it happened again. That's not normal. When we were growing up, that happened with Reagan, and I think that's it. We had a shoe get thrown at Bush's head, and he expertly dodged it, but we didn't really see, at least publicly, what was going on. And now it's almost, every other month something is happening, and you're seeing the other side dismiss it. It's not even a shame on them.
Yeah,
that's not a healthy
shame he missed. Yeah,
yeah. So what happens when we keep pushing? And what happens is if we lose for our side, let's say we lose this administration, and now it goes to a far, far left communist kind of thing. How long is everyone going to take that for? God forbid. And when they feel like they don't have a voice, I
also like to consider the fact that we have the Second Amendment, but I feel like all of these shootings are very orchestrated and an attempt to have our Second Amendment taken away. And there's no physical civil war right now because they know we got the pew-pews, right? We have the pew-pews, and they don't like pew-pews, so they don't have any pew-pews. So they can't start a war yet. We have weapons and means to defend ourselves. So what are they going to do? They're going to go after the Second Amendment and try to have a buyback or have our weapons taken away from us that defend ourselves. And that's our God-given right. That's our right of freedom to in the Constitution that we have given to us. But you want to take it away because you're not getting your way right now. That's wild to me.
Well, we can all obviously hope that it doesn't escalate past words,
yes.
Although information is probably the biggest bullets you have right now. I mean, you see how people have just been decimated by misinformation, lies, and propaganda. And
here's the thing. I'm sorry, continue.
Continue.
I was just going to say real fast, one thing that you can see consistently on our side, I'm not even going to say the right, because so many people on the quote unquote right side are just normies, centrists, you name it. It's just that we've all been thrown into one side, because if you're not on the left, then you're all whatever this group is, right? How many times has our side been willing to have that conversation? We're not running away from it. We want to have that conversation. You saw this, that even when Twitter was as commie as it was commie, many of us were still on there and having that debate. What happened when Musk took over? They invented Blue Sky, right? Like they all went that way because they can't hear another side. They can't hear it. There's so much propaganda put their way that they now fear our actual words, that if you just even hear it like Voldemort, he comes to life and they'll instantly become NZs themselves, right? One side is clearly in a bubble, and that scares me because they're not it doesn't appear that they are willing to hear anything. They're not willing to reach out across the aisle and just go like, hey, I'm hearing you guys are evil. Can you verify that for me? Can I just have a conversation? You seem cool. They're not willing to do that. Our side has always been doing that, which is why you have so many great conversations with anyone that's not on the left, because we're all people who want to have discussions. We all disagree on many things on this very panel, I'm sure, but we can have a beer afterwards and we can have a handshake and we can go like, yeah, okay, that's just one thing we don't agree on. That side, it's their religion. It's their absolute religion. And that scares me. If they have power, then it's a religious power. And that terrifies the living hell out of me.
Meg, you're going to say?
No, it's a cult. Like, it's just a freaky circus cult.
Hit that subscribe button right here and watch another video right here.